Have we any further questions of the report? And I'm asking for questions, not a speech. This section is about asking questions and referring to the point in the CAC report that you're actually talking about. Any further questions? Or do we want to bring...
Yeah. Yeah. What's happening down there?
Sorry about this.
There's no one else looking at it. We'll just wait till whatever's happening down there.
Who's at the desk? Can we ask them if we can find out what's happening?
Here we go.
Good morning, Conference. My name's Anu Prashar and I'm here on behalf of Unison. We've just got a question regarding the local government report and why our motion on local government funding is not being heard after this report, and we want to know when will it be scheduled. It's on local government funding. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Anu.
Tony Cairns, Deputy General Secretary of the Communication Workers Union. It's a question, in that case, to the CAC about why our motion on economy for the future has not been scheduled for debate, and why it's been briefed to the press that it's unlikely to be scheduled for debate this week, when the issues contained within the motion, we cannot go away from this conference without these issues of face the working class that need to be debated in open forum here this week. And we want to ask the CAC why it's not been scheduled, when it will be scheduled, when will you notify us that it will be scheduled?
Thank you. One more? Okay, do you want to come up?
Good morning. Andrew Fox-Hewitt, Fire Brigade Union. The Fire Brigade Union would like clarity on our point of order, which is why our motion on Grenfell under local government has not been timetabled for today.
Thank you. Got no further questions of the report, Lynn, so do you just want to go and answer those points? Oh, I'm sorry. We'll see where we go. You did come up a little bit late. Thank you.
Conference, this is a really busy conference and we are trying to accommodate as much as we can. Wait for it, come on. We're trying to accommodate as much as we can. I am going to take this back straight to CAC and we'll come back to you with an answer ASAP. Thank you.
I'm not sure about anybody else, but I don't think there's anywhere in this room that people should be booed. We've all got different points of view, but surely we should show respect to each other. And let's not continue the way it is today. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Lynn, and sorry about that. So we will now take a vote on the CAC report. Can I see all those in favour of accepting the report and those against? All those in favour? Thank you. And all those against? That's carried. Yeah, that's carried. Thank you. Shouting from the back at somebody like me does not work. This conference is being looked at all over the country. So let's show a little bit of respect for each other and stop all the shouting and booing and everything else. It does us no favours. Okay, moving now on to Britain Reconnected debate. So, conference, we now move to this first policy debate. Yesterday, conference voted for the 12 topics it wished to discuss over the course of the week. Delegates then attended composite meetings to agree wording for motions. These composite motions will be debated over the course of the week, and the motions this morning are Composite 1 on procurement and Composite 2 on growth mission. We have a variety of speakers and reports this morning. We will be hearing from local government, metro mayors and the Cooperative Party. But to start the session off is John Healey, Secretary of State for Defence. John, would you like to take it?
Conference, it's an honour to stand here as Defence Secretary in our new Labour government. A government elected to serve and to deliver for the people, and we will. You know, ours is a party with deep roots defending this country. The party that established NATO and the nuclear deterrent. The party of working men and women who built the warships, who made the missiles, who served on the front line to protect us all. And at this historic election, we had a record number of people who have served in the frontline forces elected as Labour MPs. Record wins in military towns and cities right across the UK. Wickham, home of the Royal Air Force Air Command, Labour gain. Portsmouth, home of the Royal Navy, Labour gain. Aldershot, home of the British Army, Labour gain. Labour. Labour is the party of defence. Security will be the foundation on which our Labour missions are built. And we will set out a path to increase defence spending to 2.5% of GDP, a level not matched since 2010, when Labour was last in government. Conference, in my second day in this job, I travelled to Ukraine and spent the afternoon with President Zelensky, visiting injured soldiers. They told us about the daily attacks, the destroyed homes, the dead friends. They told us that they were fighting for their country's freedom and they were fighting for Europe's future. Because defence of Europe, defence of the UK starts in Ukraine. And today is day 942 of Putin's illegal war. And I'm proud Labour has stood with Kyiv from day one. I'm proud the UK is united for Ukraine, and I'm proud this Labour government has stepped up our support for Ukraine. New packages of artillery, air defence, armoured vehicles, a new guarantee to speed up deliveries, a new defence industrial strategy, a treaty with new export guarantees, a new commitment to train Ukrainian troops throughout 2025, and a pledge to spend £3 billion in military support for Ukraine this year, next year, and for every year it takes, for as long as it takes for Ukraine to win. This conference, as global threats increase, the first duty of this party in government is to defend the country and to keep our citizens safe. War in Europe, conflict in the Middle East, growing Russian aggression. We know these are serious times. And we know There are serious problems with our armed forces, hollowed out and underfunded over the last 14 years. And the problems the Tories have left are much worse than we thought. As Defence Secretary, I know this myself. Ships without enough sailors to crew them. Military housing with no running water. Defence plans with billion-pound black holes. And yet, in despite everything that the Tories did, the total commitment of civilian staff, industry workers, service personnel to defend this nation remains undiminished. And so I say to them, on behalf of us all, we're proud of your professionalism, we're proud of your dedication, we thank you for everything that you do. Conference, I stood here last year and I promised that Britain will be better defended with Labour. And now, in government, we're getting on with the job. We've increased UK support for Ukraine. We've dedicated Britain to securing an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, and we've launched a strategic defence review to fix the foundations of our defence for the future. We can't solve the problems all at once, but we can begin the change. And we have. Legislating for a new Armed Forces Commissioner to improve service life. Confirming we'll set new minimum standards for military housing. Delivering the largest pay increase for the armed forces in over 20 years. So that now, for the first time, a Defence Secretary can say, everyone in uniform will be paid at least the national living wage. Conference, this is what it means when a Labour government says, we will put people at the heart of our defence plans. And Conference, you hear some say, young people today don't want to serve their country. I know this is wrong. Over the last 10 years, more than a million applied to join the forces. But 3 in 4 gave up, just gave up on the process because it takes months and it's tied up in red tape. So today I'm announcing the first steps to start to fix the Tory recruitment crisis. First, I've scrapped 100 outdated policies that block people from joining. Second, I'm setting new targets for the forces to reject or make a conditional offer within 10 days and to give people a training start date within 30 days. And third, I'm setting up a new direct route for cyber military recruits, because if you're a top gamer or a coder, your country needs you. And we'll always maintain the highest standards. And we'll create an armed forces that draws the very best of Britain's talent. Better fit to fight, better reflecting the country they defend. So, Conference, this Labour government will be a government that renews the nation's contract with those who serve and our veterans, that ensures defence helps boost the UK economy, and that makes Britain secure at home and strong abroad. The public voted for it. Labour will deliver it. Change has begun. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So, Conference, as there is no MPF report this year, and so there will be no references back, I'm sure you're pleased about that, This means we can jump straight into our composite motions, and the first composite is on procurement and will be moved by the GMB and seconded by community. Could the mover and seconder go towards the desk? Thanks, Gary. And could I have the composite 2 growth mission, the movers and seconders to the desk as well? And movers have 3 minutes and seconders have 2. I might be able to give you a bit of latitude, Gary, but not too much.
Good morning, Conference. Thank you, Chair. Gary Smith, General Secretary, GMB, moving the motion, the composite on procurement. Conference, July the 4th was truly a fantastic day. The people of our country voted for change, and I have to admit, like many of you, I wondered if I would ever see another Labour government in my working life. But we changed and we won. The Tories are out and Labour is in, and that is something we should not forget, not take for granted, and we should celebrate. The task now, though, is to change our country for the better. But our ambition has to be higher than just cleaning up the Tory mess. Together we can build something special, something better. Using the government's huge procurement powers will be critical. Now, GMB members have been fighting to get union recognition at Amazon in Coventry. The tactics used by this company to try and union bust have been despicable. And our members will keep up the fight, but government has to step up too. In the last year, Amazon received over £1 billion in public contracts. And how can that be right, Conference, when they do everything possible to stop their workers unionising? Congress, our Labour government needs to be clear with Amazon. If you want to keep trousering hundreds of millions of pounds of taxpayer cash, they need to treat workers with respect. A national procurement plan, Conference, built with unions and workers, is also vital to securing our industrial base that underpins so much of our prosperity and national security. It's high time our government started using its massive powers to support UK domestic industries like shipbuilding and defence manufacturing, new nuclear, hydrogen and steel. These are the foundation stones on which a better, more secure economy can be built. But right now, Conference, things aren't changing for the better. British shipbuilding at Harland and Wolff is on the brink. We're still waiting on decisions about funding for Sizewell C. America and Germany are leaving us behind in the race for hydrogen, and UK steel production is in crisis. Of course the Tories left a mess, but it's Labour's challenge to do better. Conference, let's show people change wasn't just a snappy election slogan. Let's get the action we need on procurement, let's get the delivery moving, and let's change this country for the better. Thank you, Conference.
Conference, Angela Carrigan, seconding the motion on procurement on behalf of Community Union. As a steelworker from Dale Plate Mill in Motherwell, working daily on vital infrastructure projects from bridges to ships, I welcome what John Healey said. Moving forward, I would ask the question, where are you going to get your steel slab from for your steel plate? Steel is vital to our country. It forms the bedrock of most of our economy and is critical to both our literal and economic security. And not just in the big, huge projects you think of. It's today the chairs that you sit on, it's the lighting rigs. If you look out on the Mersey, it's your ferries, it's your frigates across the water. It's how you got here, your trains, your planes, and your cars. They are all steel. We need it every day. It's prevalent every day in our lives, whether you notice it or not. And that's why we need it. And therefore, we have a choice. Make it here in the UK or outsource production thousands of miles away and take into consideration the environmental cost that brings. Yet, despite this need, our steel industry is facing unparalleled challenges. As we rightly move to a just transition, our steel industry, we're seeing energy prices and the cost of production rise. While we make the changes in the UK necessary to protect our planet, other nations continue to produce cheap, high-carbon steel that risks flooding the steel market and decimating our industry. But it doesn't need to be a choice between our planet and our steel industry. We can create an economic landscape that will allow our steel industry to grow, reduce our needs for cheap, high-carbon steel and the help to save our planet. But we can only do this if we have the support of government. And procurement is one key area where our Labour government can make a difference. Public projects account for 10% of steel demand in the UK each year. A huge amount of public money that delivers infrastructure, hospitals and so much more. If we use more of our domestic steel production, then that means better, well-paying jobs in the industry across the country. That means more money in workers' pockets. That means more money spent in local economies. That means public money delivering more public goods than just the output alone. It also means more security for the UK economy, making us less reliant on global imports in an increasingly volatile world. And let's not forget the benefit of our...
Can I just ask you to wind up? Thank you.
We talk about shopping local in our day-to-day lives to save our high streets and local economies. Well, it's time to shop local to save our steel. We need to implement carbon-borne adjustments mechanisms in line with the UK timelines, protect our steel market from cheap, high-carbon steel from abroad. We need a steel strategy, and we need to ensure that UK steel goes into UK products. Conference,
I'm really sorry.
Please join us in supporting this motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that, the movers and seconder of that composite. So can I have now the mover of composite 2, Bristol Central CLP, and seconded by Hinckley.